So Vicks has got full balls, and what's she going to do with them? She's going to throw them at Rob. So I'm going to duck out of the way. Off you go.
Okay. Oh, okay, right then.
And Rob has butterfingers. He caught no balls.
Damn it.
I'm sure there's some sort of significance to this, which Vicks will explain in a minute.
Right.
However, one ball.
Today's podcast is about script writing, and we're joined by the fabulous Vicks Ward.
Hello.
Hi, Vicks. Thank you for coming in
Hi.
today.
Pleasure. Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Would you like to tell our audience, to this camera here, who you are and what you do?
I'm Vicks Ward and I'm a copywriter.
Anything else?
So I write content for websites, marketing collateral, scripts and brochures, ebooks. I do writing, editing and also proofreading.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Need a bit of a prompt. I know it's easy. It's like we
that's what
just
I
say
do.
we do videos and podcasts.
We use cameras.
We use cameras and microphones, things like that. So today, guys, you're in for a treat. So as Vicks just mentioned, she does script writing. And Rob, you're still moving around in a chair.
Oh, sorry.
So if you guys aren't watching the video, please check out the video as always. So we're talking about script writing on videos. Obviously, Vicks does a lot more than just script writing. So we're going to delve into this right now.
Okay.
But to summarise, to let you all know what's coming up, what's coming up on the episode, Rob?
So the first topic is we're going to be talking about script writing for the types of...
Script. Have we said script?
Yeah, I think
okay.
Script writing for the types of videos Vicks does, and more about her and how she came into it.
And we're going to talk about scripts first for ads and movies. It's not just for movies. We're going to be actually, no, we're not going to be talking about. We've got a lovely exercise coming up. Vicks has brought some tennis balls, so hang around to find out what that's about. Or you may have seen the stinger at the beginning where Rob's been hit with tennis balls. And then finally, we're summarising on 5 tips for you to be able to write scripts for your productions up there. So that's what's coming up.
Yeah, exciting stuff.
So the first one is, where did it all begin? No, I'm only joking. One of our other clients says this all the time. So, why do you do what you do, Vicks?
Why? Because I love writing, actually. I've come at it as a second career almost, really. My background is marketing, and so I've found writing as something that is very creative, and I love that process. I'm able to help clients by giving them better content, so I get a lot of satisfaction from making that part of their job easier. So I guess it's a combination of being able to help and provide a service that some people find quite difficult to do. I love writing, so it's a good way of...
What did you do before you started writing?
So I was a marketing consultant. So I've been freelancing for a long time. I've been freelancing for about 18 years.
Wow.
Initially as a marketing consultant. I'd come out of advertising agencies. I used to handle big brand accounts in advertising agencies, running their marketing campaigns, but dealing with creative directors, art workers, copywriters, briefing jobs into them. And then when I had my kids, I went freelance, and my natural transition was to do marketing consultancy. But actually, as time went on, more and more clients were asking me to help them with their copy, write write newsletters, brochures, help them with ads. And then actually I did a creative writing course. I'd always worked to a brief. I had always had a client give me a brief and I'd done as I was told. That's what you did in agencies. The client would say jump and you'd say how high. So that's kind of how I was conditioned. Oh. So I wanted to see if I could actually think and be creative outside of a brief environment, so outside of having a brief. So I did a creative writing course, and you were just given little prompts or pictures to create stories.
I was about to say, I mean, obviously a creative writing course is going to be prompts, but
Yeah,
ultimately you're having to come up with the original ideas.
Yeah, no, totally. So you'd maybe have a picture or a photograph or a word, and you'd have to go off and create a story.
They didn't do this scenario where they say, right, take this pen and put a story behind it.
Well, not quite, but, similar things. You'd have to create a story in 6 words, or you'd have to do, there were all sorts
shall we put
of
Vicks to the
different
test?
exercises.
Put on the spot. Did you take to like a duck to water, or did you struggle? Were there any struggles with it?
I suppose I found getting my confidence took a little while, but actually I was in such a great group who'd come from all different walks of life, and they were so positive, and all the feedback was really constructive, that actually I just found my feet, found my confidence, realised I could write, and that clients were wanting me to write for them. So I kind of took that great feedback I'd had in the room, and kind of transitioned it and let the marketing consultancy go completely, really, and just went for copywriting. And I've just
was that quite daunting to let it go?
It was, because I'd come from an advertising agency where the copywriters were the sullen people up in the loft who you take a brief up to and they'd look absolutely disgusted with the brief that you had, and you would be intruding on their time. And I always found you
felt guilty for approaching them when it's their job.
I always found them quite daunting briefing a copywriter, because they were like the gods. I was in a big advertising agency. We were in McCann Erickson. It was the biggest in the world. They did campaigns for Coca-Cola. It's like the real deal. And these copywriters upstairs, they were just amazing. So it was terrifying as a new account manager briefing them.
You must have picked up a sense of what it's like to be a copywriter. You had that high level there where you just thought, did you think you ever wanted to be one of those people at the time?
It was never on my radar that I would ever come close to doing that. They're almost revered, the creatives and the copywriters, and so it wasn't something I ever felt I could really. It wasn't even on my radar, really. But actually, looking back at it now, I can see that when I used to take their copy and then take it to the client, get clients' feedback and go back to the copywriter, because there was always lots of feedback.
Yeah.
I can see now that actually I'm a really good copywriter.
We've got 18 years to prove it now as well.
Well, I think maybe that's it. That's experience as well has helped, that, the number of amends I used to have to brief in to that copy. And now I'm very much mindful of getting the brief right from the client so that I don't have to.
Yeah.
So they get what they want rather than
so you don't have to go back and forth.
Make loads and loads of amends. That is, the aim is to try not to.
Were you working in a team of copywriters at the time?
Well, I was an account manager, so I was sort of the go-between between the client and their creatives.
Yep.
So that was my role
So you had to interpret
in agencies. So I had to interpret the brief and brief that into creative and then take that back to the client.
Yep.
So I was kind of going in between. So we'd either be doing a TV commercial one day, or we'd be doing a 48-sheet poster campaign or brochures, all sorts. Wow. So having had that experience has been really useful. And I think that's what's taken me a little while to think, well, actually, I'm a copywriter. I haven't done a course, but I've got a lot of experience, and I can
itself,
write.
I don't think you always need to do a course to prove.
No.
It's already naturally in you for your experiences in life.
Yeah.
I mean, I never did a course on, shock horror, a course on videography or film. It's just through the experience of being a designer and all the things in 3D visualization and things like that, where you build it up.
A qualification can only get you so far.
Yeah.
Experience will speak for itself, I think.
Absolutely. And I totally forgot to mention, actually, guys, Vicks is a client of ours as well. We've worked with Vicks on producing our own video.
We'll
totally
whack up the video.
We'll whack up the video. We're going to show some B-roll now if you're not watching the podcast. But we work with Vicks. I've met Vicks through networking, like where we meet all of our clients through networking. And she approached us end of last year. Wanted to produce your video for you.
Yeah.
And it was so nice. But this is one of the times where we didn't have to think, we need a scriptwriter. You did the job.
It's the beauty,
So on that, Vix, how hard is it to write your own script compared to writing for a client?
It is, I would say it's harder. I think for my video, I had quite a clear idea of what I wanted to achieve. So once I had the idea that I wanted it to be more than just somebody sitting at a desk and writing, that's really not interesting for anybody to watch.
No.
So
No, when you're trying to show something creative.
yeah, it's a creative process, and I suppose I wanted to really show the real process. That it is more than just
Behind the
sitting down.
curtain of
Yeah.
what goes on through that creative.
Yeah, and actually the
thinking.
creative bit is the bit that's away from the desk, the thinking bit when you're not actually sitting there writing. It's that planning, the thinking, the clear thinking bit beforehand.
And that's what I think I really liked about working with you, because obviously we're in the creative industry as well, and you need that time away.
Yeah.
And sometimes when somebody comes up to us, I needed that video yesterday, that leaves you no thinking time. So this is where having some idea of timescales and things where you can plan it in. You, like yourself, you go for a walk, you think, you make notes.
Yeah.
And that's what was refreshing about working with you. Compared to the other videos we've done before. I mean, obviously we've done videos for like a photographer who has a creative process as well, but you took it one step further and said, and you were, most people think you've got to be sat at your desk all the time from 9 to 5, but you're like, no, I'll go out for a walk.
Yeah.
I'll go and think about it.
I've got a question.
I come up with the ideas, definitely,
Yeah.
is while I'm out. That's
This-
where the clarity comes.
This question's off topic, but how do you, if you're really stumped on an idea of what to do, does a walk help?
Definitely,
To jog?
moving
Why is that?
definitely helps. I think there's been lots of books written about the creative process, and actually, as I've realised my own creative process, I've read more books about the creative process. John Cleese has written one recently, and some very famous advertising guys have written about the creative process, and that bit is about letting go. Once you've done all your research and you've interviewed the client, or you've spoken to customers, you've looked at reviews, you've looked at how customers, what they value in their connection with clients. Once you've done all that research and you've looked at competitors and you've done all your reading and you know your objective, you know where you've got to try and get to, you almost need to let it all go. And when I'm out walking, or I'm walking the dog, or I'm trying to run,
Or driving, would you say?
or driving,
Yeah.
you've just got that clarity.
Driving. Rob's doing the motions.
Yeah, driving. You've got that clarity, and you focus on the end game where you're trying to get to, and it comes.
Wow.
I don't really know where it comes from, but eventually it comes, and
It's like
and
mystic force.
you do literally get this idea, and you think, well, actually, there might be something in that.
Yeah.
Is there any occasion where you go for that walk, you get back and think,
Doesn't
I need to
come.
go for another walk?
Yeah, no, I need to go again.
It's not the fact the sun's
Yeah.
out or anything.
No, I'm going to go again, definitely. Yeah, so, I don't know. It's I guess everybody's creative process is different.
My most craziest ideas always come up when I'm in the shower. So
Okay.
It always is, or the drive.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if that drive's 5 minutes or 15 minutes, but yeah.
That's really interesting. I've just I've got really into podcasts, as I'm sure lots of people have got into podcasts over lockdown. And I was listening to Seth Godin on a podcast. He's a great marketing guru.
Yeah.
I've followed him 25 years.
Wow.
I'm doing a workshop with him at the moment, a freelancers workshop. And one of the things he said when he was writing permission marketing and coming up with another idea for another book, he had to come up with an idea for a book every day. And
Wow.
he put himself in the shower. So he was in the shower, and he gave himself the objective that he wasn't going to get out of the shower until he came up with an idea. That's a lot of hot water.
That's a lot of hot water. There's a lot of pressure
Yeah.
from the hot water
Yeah.
as well. But yeah,
You
that's
got the pressure and the added pressure of the shower.
of the shower. Then you're in there for so long, people are wondering what you're doing in there.
Yeah.
As long as you told the partner.
I'm not going to get out until I've come up with this idea.
I'm always
That's
accused of being in
mad.
the shower far too long. It's because I'm creative thinking.
Yeah, coming up with ideas.
Yeah,
Perfect.
exactly. So okay, we'll move swiftly on because that conversation can go off in the wrong
I've
direction.
probably
there.
not even answered the question. Sorry.
No, you have
brilliant.
certainly
Okay.
answered the question. We're going to move on to script writing.
Okay.
Now you've already mentioned several things which you do to get out of your brain and go for a walk and think about things. So what we've got on our notes here is scripts for ads versus movies. Now, when people think script writing, they always think it's going to be a movie, but actually there's script writing for ads and all sorts of different things. Do you want to explain a little bit more about
Definitely. So going back to going back to briefing in a creative idea for a television commercial, say. So you want to shoot a 30-second television commercial. You brief in the objective for the commercial, and we always used to brief in a creative but also a copywriter who would work together. So they would storyboard the visual aspect of the commercial, but the words would tie in alongside that. So
it's done at the same time.
Done at the same time, and the words are just as important as the visual. So as a script writer, I would say actually your words are probably more important. They are the thread that keep your idea together, that keep your concept together. Yeah. They're almost like the elastic in your waistband. I would like to think that your words your words are the elastic. They really are, because they hold it together.
Yeah.
They keep it moving. They're almost like you're here and you want to get to there. They keep your visuals moving on to the next.
Well, that's certainly
step.
true. I mean, before
that's
we
like
get
video and audio.
Before we get going on anything apart from something like a podcast, even though we got actually a loose script, we're following the bullet points on this podcast. But even before we get going on any sort of video advertisement or introduction, you always need that story arc.
Yeah.
And if you try and wing it, it's not going to work.
Shows,
No.
Yeah, and you end up actually makes the editing process a lot longer because you're trying to hobble something together.
Yeah.
It just doesn't
and
work.
You've got no kind of common thread. I mean, I like to think of it as you have to have as any story with any video, it needs a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Yeah.
So you've got to start with, well, what am I trying to achieve? You know, it's either whether it's your intro or whether it's highlighting a specific problem that a customer might have. Your middle is your resolution, what you're going to be giving your customer.
So the problem-solving part of it.
Yeah, the solving of that problem, the benefit that they're going to achieve, and the end, what they need to do next, how they need to get in touch with you. So that's also obviously very basic structure, but the words form the structure of your video, of your visual.
Yeah, I mean, most people would have heard the beginning, the middle, and the end, but this is where it becomes much more detailed. It's about how do you start it, get to the middle, the story arc, get into the middle, then to the conclusion. I always see like the start being, let's say it's in a span of 1 minute video. I always see like the start being around about 5 or 7 seconds, the middle being majority of it, and then the end being a lot shorter. Is that true, or have I got that totally wrong?
I don't know. I guess it depends. You've got to keep it moving, haven't you? Yeah. You want your audience to stick with you. So I guess you don't want to hang around on one issue for too long. Yeah. Yes, I guess that works. If you highlight the problem initially, you don't need to go on and on about what the problem is,
repeat
or
it in different ways.
Problems. You know, highlight your problem, and then what you want to get to is the resolution and how you can provide that, and the service and the products that you can give, and the benefits that gives, and creating that emotional connection with your audience as well.
Sorry, I really cut her off.
No.
She's just excited. You carry on, Rob. You ask the questions as they pop into your head.
Does video content, do you always need a script?
I think it's useful to have your structure bullet pointed beforehand, whether it comes in the form of a script or whether it just comes in the form of written thoughts.
Yes,
then it has its arc and its structure, but it doesn't need to be script. It could be music. It could be sound. I mean, there are loads of commercials which haven't had any script at all and don't lose
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. It doesn't lose an impact in any way. It has music but
that's still all scripted because it's got to be scripted from a visual point of view. You still need that story arc.
It's storyboarded.
Just because there's no voice in it being said, you've still always got it.
Yeah, you've still got your story. So that will have been written out, that story. I was watching one this morning, a Coca-Cola ad with a bunch of animated polar bears who are, they throw in a bottle of Coke, and the polar bears are trying to catch the bottle of Coke without spilling it, and they're on the ice and they're slipping around, and the music is amazing and it's very emotive. But the first words you see are on the end frame with the slogan, and there's no script to it visually or sound.
So question for you then. So when you're writing scripts or deciding if somebody approaches you and you're deciding whether they need a script or whether they need prompts, it's going to be the size of the brand as well. How well known are you? You know, not everybody could do something like that start off with. Because I just think, well, maybe they do, and to make their business seem even bigger by going like minimalistic on that front. So I guess that's a thing you've got to consider as well.
But I think that's quite an interesting point, because I think people think they have to throw as much information as possible because they're a small brand and they're not well known. But actually, I think you can end up looking like you don't really know what you're talking about because you're trying to cover all bases and say lots of things. I think as long as you start with, well, what's my objective for doing this? What am I trying to achieve? Who am I talking to? And what space are they in as well? Everybody's so busy at the moment. You bounce around on social media. Everybody's just, you get distracted.
Has that changed in the last, sorry, I'm going to go off on one now. Well, not off on one literally, but has that changed in the last, especially the last 5 years with social media and our attention spans? Has it changed how you write?
You have to be very mindful of as a writer to be aware of how distracted people are, your audience are, and how easily they can go off on a tangent. So the seed that you have to plant in their head is a controlled one. You have to keep them on point without getting them suddenly going off and finding out about something completely different.
I suppose if it's something difficult for them to keep track of, they're going to lose attention span on it.
Yes, so you have to be mindful of that. And I suppose writing for different platforms as well, what your different audiences are, whether it's Instagram or LinkedIn or, you know.
Do you get that often now when somebody approaches you, they say, right, I want one piece of work, but I want it to be on every platform?
Yes.
And then do you have to adapt and rewrite it, or how do you work with people like that?
I guess I've tended to work on the full video. So you'll do the full video, but mindful that it's going to be chopped up into pieces, and then that will be used for social media. So when you're writing the frames, make sure that they work in isolation as well as a complete piece. So and
that's a skill in itself, because otherwise, if you're writing it so that segments can be taken out. I mean, we do this for our clients with videos. We take segments out, and if that one segment can make sense, but in the whole video, it could be a bit jarring if it feels like you're stopping and starting.
Yeah. There's a lot of saying it out loud. I do stand in my office and talk to myself a lot.
I see.
Not
only just for work.
And I've got a dog, so it's really handy to bounce stuff off the dog, because she doesn't criticise me anyway. She thinks I'm great.
Brilliant. Are there happy coincidences, like when you're script writing, that you'll like specifically do something, but then hesitate and, oh, should I leave that in there or not? And then you do, and it works out for you.
Sometimes. I can't think of any examples particularly, but sometimes that can happen where it just all flows and it comes together really easily. But sometimes I can spend hours on 5 words because it doesn't work, or there's something that just doesn't sit well, or the flow of it, the flow of it doesn't feel right, or it doesn't have the right rhythm, because it's about hearing the words when you're writing for video or ads. You're writing to be heard. You're not writing to be read.
Personality must come in well, we know certainly comes in a big part. If the script's not written for the personality to the person who's presenting it.
Yes.
I know you've done some script writing stuff for voiceovers for TV, I believe, as well.
So I've done for videos for people's websites.
Yeah.
I've done those, and it's definitely about getting to know the client, and so I'm up for talking to the client and listening to them. So I want to hear the language that they use, the way that they speak, the phrasing they use, because it has to be authentic for them. Nobody's interested in what I've got to say. I'm writing for them.
Yeah.
So you dedefinitely have to, get in tune with your customer.
I know when we've done collaborations, we're working on a collaboration at the moment with Andy Taylor-White, and he wrote the content for it, which is absolutely superb. But there was just some words in it where I can't even get my tongue around that word because of my ever so slight speech impediment. I can't say R's properly and things like that. So I guess when you're working with somebody, you're having to maybe Zoom and phone calls is one of the best ways to find out actually what words they're using
and how comfortable they are in delivering it as well. Some people want a whole script, but some people don't want to learn a script off pat. They might want to learn single lines and just deliver the lines, or they might want to be interviewed. So it's a question of writing the questions that you can ask them so that they can feed the line you want. So it's not always about just writing a script.
It's just so many different paths you can go down.
Depends how people want to work.
Yeah. I'm going to move it on now to the bit I've been looking forward to the most.
Me too.
The tennis balls.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. We're going to do a tennis ball exercise. Now, which way round do you want to do this, Vicks? Do you want to talk about what it is, or just literally get on with it
first,
and then explain it?
I'll explain it as I go.
Yeah, explain it as go. Well, you have to explain part of it because you're going to have to stand up away from the mic.
I am going
to. And if you guys out there are just listening to this podcast, make sure you check it out. We're going to leave a timestamp in the description for this particular exercise because it's quite a visual exercise. Only you can see on video. I'll be a commentator on it as the best I can.
Move my mic.
So if you are listening, the guy's going to stand up now.
Okay.
I'm just going to make sure everybody's on view on the camera. You can see Rob in the corner. So we have Vicks in one corner of the room, and in the other corner we have Rob Hellier. Pulsate, woo! And then the copywriter in the other. Now Vicks is holding four tennis balls, and I think
tennis balls?
Yeah, you can see the tennis balls on the wide angle here. So without further ado, what are you going to do with those tennis balls?
Okay.
So Vicks has got 4 balls, and what's she going to do with them? She's going to throw them at Rob. So I'm going to duck out of the way. Off you go.
Okay. Oh, okay, right.
And Rob has butterfingers. He caught no balls.
Damn it.
I'm sure there's some sort of significance to this, which Vicks will explain in a minute.
Right.
However, one ball, one message.
One ball, one message. So
I got the message.
What was that message that you could
catch
a ball and take that message? Woo! Right, okay, cool. So Vicks is now going to sit down and explain to us what that was all about. Right, okay. So we're just let's just leave these tennis balls away. So if there's inconsistency in our editing, people will see it. Right, okay, Vicks. Explain to us.
I need a ball back probably to explain it. So the idea is that each of the balls represents a message. So whether it's in a TV ad or an advertisement in a magazine or even a leaflet or a video. So I think sometimes you can cram these things with too many messages. So the idea is if you throw all sorts of messages...
Whoa! She's got balls in her hand still. I was thinking they're going to come this way.
At your audience, they're not going to get any of them.
Yeah.
But if you throw just one single-minded message, then they're much more likely to catch it, and they're much more likely to have that as the takeaway.
That's a superb visual for it, because we see it all the time. Funny enough, we see it through business networking.
Yeah.
You know, people will come on and they say, I do X, Y, and Z, and they go on and on and on. You're like, you're lucky if I remember one of those.
No,
and it's always, if it's going to be either the first thing, then I switch off, or the last thing. And it's exactly the same scenario on videos. Brilliant exercise. You've wanted to do that for a while, haven't
I
you?
have wanted to chuck a ball at you for a really long time. Yeah.
Fantastic.
I think it's all about just keeping it simple.
Yeah.
Just keep it really, really simple.
It's
I've always had KISS in the back of my mind. Keep it simple, stupid.
I was about to throw that in.
Important.
Keep
love
it
that.
simple, stupid, and it's absolutely true. Especially, I mean, not only if you're stupid. Come on, I don't know if we can say that. Not only if you're stupid, but obviously if you're tired. If you're tired, you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
If you keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah.
Then you're more likely to remember it.
Definitely.
For all those stupid people out there.
And tired people.
And tired people. Right, that's absolutely brilliant. We're going to move on to the last part of our podcast. Well, second to last part. You've got 5 tips for our audience. Now, we've covered some of these tips throughout the podcast, but as a sort of like a simplified way of telling our audience what they can get from this podcast, things they can go away with right now and implement.
Okay, so if they're writing a script, then so I've got my 5 tips are, number 1, what's your objective? So what are you trying to communicate? That's your first one. Your second one is write to communicate, not to impress. You know, it's all about communicating with your customer, with your audience. So don't try and be overly impressive with the information.
You used to see that on The Apprentice on TV, where they're trying to do a video and they go all trying to do Hollywood videos and they miss the message.
Yeah.
And they're trying to impress.
It just overcomplicates. You lose people, like you were just saying. You get completely befuddled with information.
Love that word, befuddled.
Yeah, it's just it's distracting, and if somebody is confused, they're gone. That's it. You don't retain them. So don't write to impress. Write to communicate. The other thing with that is, with video, is that you're writing to hear, not to read, and that's very different as well. So when I'm writing for a script, it's about something that can be heard, and so say it out loud.
So actually say it out loud, not just in your head.
Yeah, not just in your head, because it's not for reading. And the third one is to have a single message, which we've demonstrated how important it is to have a single message.
Caught the ball.
Much more likely to be retained by your audience if you have a single message. And the fourth one is don't use jargon. Stay away from jargon, complicated language. Just keep it really, really straightforward.
I guess the only time you could use complicated language, if you're targeting, I don't know, engineers with that language, would that work?
Yeah, write for your audience. So use the language that your audience uses and understands. Brilliant. So write for your audience. And then the fifth one is you'll have a clear call to action at the end, one single call to action at the end. So have either a website or a telephone number. I would say choose one, because if you give...
Well, choose one over the other, website or telephone.
Yeah, I would choose one as a single call to action at the end, because choice can paralyse response. Really? If you give people too much choice, they can dither. But if you have a website, then that's perfect, because on the website you'll have a form and a telephone number and you'll have methods. You'll have a choice on the website. But if you just give them one...
They're more likely to remember, and I'm going off on a tangent here, somebody more likely to remember a website address to a telephone number, though.
Yeah, a website would be easier, because then you've got everything on the website anyway. So, the website would be better.
But one or the other.
Yeah, don't give them lots and lots of choices.
Yeah. Email address, fax. Yes, fax. Some people are still using fax.
Address.
AOL.
AOL, MySpace. Let's chuck all in there. Follow us on social media. Do it all. It's like, no.
Too many, I'm off.
Too much.
I really like that.
Yeah. Go to that single thing. Our iPad's just gone off. You just switched our iPad off. Right. Technical error, guys. So absolutely fascinating, Vicks.
Oh, thanks.
That's something you guys out there, our listeners, can put into action straight away. We always advocate, if you want to do videos, give it a go yourself with your iPhones, or if you just really you don't want to get into the whole tech front, we're always there for you. But this is something they can put into action straight away, and thinking about the messages, the start, the middle, the end. It's absolutely brilliant, Vicks. Thank you so much.
Good, pleasure.
So where can people go to find you, is your single message?
VicksWardCopywriter.com.
Brilliant. We've flashed that up on the video. No telephone number because we're practicing what we preach.
Yes. Choice paralyzes
So do you want to
response.
repeat it one more time?
Vicks Ward, copywriter.com.
Easy one to remember as
Easy
well.
one,
Your
that's
name,
me.
Copywriter.
Easy
Yes.
peasy.
Superb.
Yeah.
Socials, you're on socials, I'm assuming, as well?
On LinkedIn, yes.
LinkedIn.
Same name, Vicks
Instagram?
Ward. Not really,
Okay.
no.
Not
a bit,
really.
but
No.
no,
Okay.
not particularly. Well, yeah, but no.
Yes, no. Yes, no, yes. Yes, that's from the Vicar Dibley. I
I've
think.
gone with the single, LinkedIn is
No.
a really great platform to be on, and
Yes, yeah.
it works for
Well, you're
for
dealing
me
with business to business, aren't you?
Yeah,
So
so it's,
absolutely makes sense. Absolutely fantastic.
Wow.
Well, thank you so much.
Oh, pleasure.
Thank
Thank you
you
for having me. It's
coming
been
in.
really good fun.
Yeah, it's been fun. I'm really sad this one's over.
Yeah.
I just wanted more tennis balls to be thrown at you. Absolutely brilliant.
I can leave them for you if you like.
Yeah, you can throw me in.
Yeah, we could play catch
Yeah.
in the car park, Rob, afterwards. Visualise that, people. It's lonely. We do have work to do.
Yeah, we
We do have work to do. So thank you, Vicks. Brilliant.
Pleasure. Brilliant. Thank you.
So, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. I hope you've managed to get at least one thing out of it. And if you haven't, then you haven't been listening or watching, because this has been an absolutely superb
Ram-packed,
episode.
info-driven podcast.
Absolutely brilliant. So, if you're not subscribed to us on YouTube, please subscribe, or on whatever podcasting platform you're actually listening to us. And we'd love to hear what you think. Please comment, come back to us, and just stay tuned. Any last words for you, Rob?
I'm just happy I can catch a ball. That's
I'm
why.
happy you can catch a ball, because
Yeah.
that could have gone terribly wrong. So there's a sportsman in you after all.
Yes. Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you, guys. You take care, and we'll see you again soon.
Ta-ra.
Ta-ra. I can't believe it's doing.
That's my signature.
Brilliant. We're done.
That's good.
Yeah, we always put a ta-ra in the end.
Yeah.